Salute to you all and a good morning. Today's Monday, and sorry I was supposed to do this podcast last week, but my schedule was pretty busy and I had other responsibilities to take care of. But I'm not going to take much of your time. Today, I just want to talk about the topic. And as I promised you in my other video that I'm going to rep Ghana. So, to my Ghanaian family, it's your boy here, repping Ghana, representing my people on my mom's side of the family. So yes, I am a Ghanaian and I'm also a Sierraleonean as well. So for those who are new to my podcast, please do show some love to your boy, African people. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and then stay tuned with this podcast. So I made this podcast out of love and also my observation with my African people, because I have much love with African people. And for those who have been friends with me on my old Facebook, you know how active how active I was with my African stuff, educating people about history, culture, and showing teaching us to love on one another, being there for one another and promoting our unity. It's not a today thing. I've always been an African activist. I've always been a person who loves Africa, and I've always been that guy who always want to promote Africa, who always believe in Africa. I believe in Africa excellence, Africa's greatness. So, as I said in my video, I'm going to talk about family planning. But family planning, I did a research on it, but I didn't like the illustration. But I'm going to put it in the right form. The African way of building a family. That's the right word I'm going to use. The African way of building a family. Now, for those who don't know me, welcome to my podcast. And so, the name is simple. The name is Reggie Kwabena Deschamps-Mills. I am a Ghanaian Sierraleonean. Okay, so I identify as two terms. I am a Ghanaian Sierraleonean and I'm a West African. But pretty much before there were even any countries, before they were even creating of Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, we're all Africans. And trust me, I said in my podcast when it comes about this intertribal marriages and intertribal identity, I once told you that there's no purebred anywhere. For many generations, we Africans have intermingled. So there's nothing called pure Kenyan, pure Ugandan, pure Ghanaian, pure Nigerian. We are all mixed. We're Africans. Irrespective of the country we come from, even the tribe we claim we belong to, if we go deep into our lineage to ask questions and to dive in to trace our lineage, you'll realize that most of us are, hybrid. We are mixed. So I'm just gonna go straight into the topic. Greetings to you all. Saubona, Dumilara, Mechiamo, Memamo Machin, Ojeko, Indonami. Yeah, greetings to you all. Jambo, Memedi Reggie Kwabena Deschamps-Mills, Nena Furaha, Kukutana na Wewe. Greetings to you all and welcome to my podcast. So the African way of building a family. Our ancestors had a way of living. And I will tell you this. I want people to understand that our ancestors were human beings like us. Some people put our ancestors on the pedestal, that our ancestors have to be, they have to be a supreme being. They have to be people who are unique, who are, perfect. And I'll tell you this. Our ancestors once lived in this earth and they are human beings like us. Our ancestors can do right thing and our ancestors can do the wrong thing as well. So for Africans who have myopic way of thinking, who are not civilized, excuse my language, in a way of thinking your forefathers were savages, your forefathers, nothing good come of it. I want to transform your mind today, liberate your mind today and tell you that since you're a human being and you breathe in air, same as your good, sometimes too, there's one thing about you which is bad. You can be good and bad. You can do things which is good. You can do things which is wrong. That's human nature. So your ancestors, our ancestors can do right. They can do wrong. So please, let us stop disgracing our forefathers. Let us stop saying nasty stuff, inhumane stuff about our forefathers. Because, trust me, we come from their lineage. We come from their bloodline. They gave birth to our, many generations ago. It is your forefathers' bloodline, part of their genes and their DNA. That's why you are here today. Even though, yes, the Almighty give us life and make us who we are, but at the same time too, we give credit which credit is due. It is our ancestors. That's the reason why some of us even come from the family we come from. Because if we didn't have kids with, whoever that might be, we might not even come from the family we come from. As I want to say and remind you that being African is an identity, is a gift, so is it a choice. You can be an African and choose not to identify as an African. That's on you. You can be an African by identity. You can be an African by choice. That's on you. For me, I choose to be an African by choice and by identity. And whatever you see me doing here, I'm not a charlatan. Whatever you see me doing here is the same thing I do in my early life. Not even my early life, like the life I'm living right now. I never cease to be an African. On streets, you see me dressing African, rapping African, talking African. Like everything about me is African. I'm so African that your mind cannot even comprehend. So let's go straight to the topic. Building an African family. So building an African family, first of all, I want to renew the way of African. Now, building an African family, when you're a man and you marry a woman, so a husband and I want to talk about marriage people issue. Husband and wife. When you marry a woman, you have kids with her. That's a creation of a family. You are creating a family. You have already created a family. But when you create something, you have to have a foundation first, right? So if you have been those who have a house or those who want to build a house, you have to build on a foundation. Now I want to remind the Africans, what is our value as Africans? What is the African cultural values? The African traditional values. Some of African people have kids, but they do not install the African way of life, the African pride, the African culture into their kids. That's why most of you have children and they have no self of identity. They don't speak their language. They don't know their tribe or ethnic group they are from. You can have kids in the Western world, but some of them head of your country, but they don't have no knowledge about the African country you come from. So I just want to tell you that you have to build on a foundation. When you have kids with your wife, you have to build on a foundation. And foundation number one is knowing who you are, knowledge of thyself. Your kids have to know their roots, their heritage. Foundation number two, financial issue. Now sorry, this is sensitive, but I have to say it. I have to put emotion aside and say it. We are all men, I'm not gonna lie. But sometimes to some men, sorry to say this, they are not worthy to become men. The reason why I'm saying this is that how can you give birth, abandon your wife, abandon the children, and live life like, like you don't have responsibility, like careless lifestyle, like you abandon the family, like whatever that's happened, whether your child is eating, whether your child is breathing, whether your child is alive, whether your child is dead, he doesn't care. He live life like life belongs to him. He doesn't have a family, he doesn't have a children, he doesn't have a wife. Once he has a wife, he has a children, like he doesn't care. So my question to African fathers, are you really an African father? Your grandfather, your great-grandfather, when they have children, they have to be responsible. That's why I say this. We all desire wealth. But at the same time, sorry, the system in the world we live in, we all want to make money. But unfortunately, to surprise you, it's not everybody who's going to be the Dangotes. It's not everybody who's going to be the despite. It's not everybody who's going to be the auto dealers. It's not everybody who's going to be like, those figures. But trust me, in life, if you have the life, if you have the strength, if you have the oxygen to breathe, if you are healthy and you can stand on your feet, then do your best. And listen, do not let a woman pressure you. To married men, do not let women pressure you. You are a man. Think like a man, act like a man. And to my African sisters, the African wives, my message to you. Know your self-worth. Before you even have this family planning, know where you're getting yourself into. The man you are marrying. Is he responsible? And if you're having kids, listen, you have to know the man you are dealing with. You have to look at the health issues. If you think that having kids with this man is going to be a burden, then my sister, even though you desire a kid, you have to sit down and have a talk with him. How are we going to do it? But also, we cannot do it on the physical aspects. That's when the spiritual aspect comes. Foundation, spiritual foundation. African men, your faith. How important is your faith to you? Do you have time to communicate with the Creator? Do you have time to engage yourself in spiritual activities? How's your spiritual level? Are you spiritually awakened or are you spiritually dead? That's what African husband or African man or African father have to keep in mind. The African woman, your spiritual life. How are you training up your children? How in tune are your children in the spiritual, like when it comes to spiritual aspects? As a mother, you don't only give birth, but you are a mother who also gives birth to greatness. So African mothers, I want to tell you this. I have to find a time that I'll do a video to speak life into African sisters, African women. Because African women, sorry to say, they have been looked down upon. African women sometimes look down upon themselves and think they don't have self-worth. But I want to tell African women that you matter. You are very important. You are loved. You are very important. Forget about what other people say about you. African, I have to do, I feel a little bit emotional. African women, you matter. Do not ever look down upon yourself. An African woman, remember, we had African women who fought. Last time I was doing a research about Guinea Republic, because once in a while, I just do research about African countries, history, and even news. So I found something interesting about Guinea Republic. So there was a woman who was part of a kingdom known as the Waso Kingdom. And Waso Kingdom, this has something to do with a Fulani empire in Guinea. And back then, so the Fulani people had an empire known as the Futa Jalon. And they had a woman warrior known as Ndate Nyala. So Ndate Nyala was a woman who fought against French imperialism, colonialism, oppression. So I want to tell you that African women, you are very powerful. Even if you look at Ghana, for Ghana people, the Ashanti people, you have Yas Antua. The Ewe people, you have Mama Yakakbe. And, many other tribes, you had great women who fought against oppression. And then the Northern Ghana people, you have Queen Apoka, the Frafra people. So different African people. You had women. Ethiopia, you had women who fought against imperialism and colonialism. So I want to remind the African women that you are needed, you are wanted, you are loved. Now, I want to tell you that feminism aspect, if you claim that you're empowering women, as I said, I don't hate women, I love women. And what I mean by I love women is that I love to see women, move forward. I love to see women, climbing mountains. I love to see women excellence. I love to see women, telling the world that yes, women are capable of doing this. But at the same time too, we live in a society where we have people who group themselves as better women who are full of self-hate, and they call themselves feminists. And this feminism women, instead of them they claim they're empowering women, but sometimes they don't. They are off track. They rather teach women that men are their competitors. Men are not good. Men are dogs. Like they use filthy, disgusting, abusive language towards men. And patriarchy, as I said, is in an African culture. But being a patriarch doesn't mean looking down upon women. Patriarchy is in line with being masculine men. People get that wrong. Now, I want to tell you that you can be a patriarch, but that doesn't mean you have to, devalue women. Like women have no value. Like you look down upon women, you hate women. Like you don't want women to prosper. Like if they were to give, if you were to be the one in charge of the world, for you would like for women to be under your feet. And now, you can be a patriarch, you can be a patriarch masculine man and still respect women and still love on women. As you claim you're a feminist woman, you are a grown woman and I cannot tell you what you should do or how you should, identify yourself. But in your pursuit of being a feminist, please respect men. Because the reason why I say respect men is, it is the seed of a man that made you a woman. If your dad was not intimate with your mom and got your mom pregnant, I don't think you would have existed in this world. So despite you talk that mambo jumbo, your talk ranting, remember that it's a seed of a man who made you a woman. And also the men who look down upon women, trust me, if your dad was not intimate with your mom, remember that a guy, if you don't respect women, if you can say abusive language to a woman, if you can degrade women, if you can exploit women, if you talk nasty, disrespect women, remember that you came from a woman's womb. She had you there for 9 months. In 9 months, you were in a woman's womb. She feed you, give you whatever you need, the nutrient and the vitamin for you to be, active to come to this world. And you sat on a woman's lap. Excuse my language. You pee on a woman's lap. You do like things, you poop, everything. Excuse my language. You did things, crazy things. But in all your shame as a teenager, it is your mom, a woman, your auntie, a woman, your sister, a woman, who, when you brought shame to society, and I'm reminding some men who are bitter. I'm not throwing jabs or shots on every man. I know it's not every man who disrespects women, and I know it's not every man who respects women. So I want to make this clear. There are men who respect women, there are men who don't. There are women who respect men, and there are women who don't. So this message is for you all. Respect one another, value one another, have respect. Men, women are not your slave. Husband, wife are not your slave. She's your wife, she has to do. Yes, she's a responsibility. But you don't give your wife slave treatment. You treat her like a queen. Respect. African men, sometimes too, I also throw this in. Sisters have been saying this, but from my observation, as I said, I don't want anything that has to do with oppression, anything that is to, bring division among a group of people. But I have to bring this here. The effect of colonialism. African men, like I said, everybody and the woman they want. If you want white woman, that's on you, brother. But you wanting a white woman, respect African women. You have a right to fall in love with whatever you want. But the woman you fall in love with and the race and the people you come from, you don't disrespect them. Just because you don't want to fall in love with an African woman, just because you don't want to have kids with an African woman, just because you don't want to marry an African woman, that doesn't give you room to disrespect African women. Some of you disrespect African women. Some of you, before you even end up with a white woman, you make sure you break. Some of you make sure you create a broken home. You have an African wife, you abandon them and the kids, and you marry Oyibo. And my message to you is that, what are you leaving behind? African people. The African way of building a family. African men. With all your talk, being a masculine man. Being like you are the boss. You behave like you are the god of your house. All you do is talk. You know, say how you are a man, this, listen. Sorry to, to step on your ego. You are nothing but a weak man. A strong man is responsible. A strong man has respect. A strong man has value. A strong man has dignity. So, my African brothers, the family you are creating, what are you leaving behind? As I said, it's not everybody who can be the billionaire out there. But whatever you can do in your power and your ability, do it. When you are building family, be responsible physically, be responsible spiritually, and be responsible financially. You can't build a family and keep putting your family into debts. So, figure it out. And the next thing, foundation, inheritance. Despite raising the children, I raise you, blah, 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 blah. What are you leaving for the children? And in this inheritance stuff, I want to also, be harsh on this subject. So African fathers, African husbands, African brothers, if you are leaving inheritance, please do not give it full, half of it. Sometimes, listen, I'm a young man. To African brothers, I can be a son to you. I can be your nephew. But I want to tell you this. Your children also have life. You can live inheritance, yes, but not living fully. Give them half. They have to figure out life on their own. They have to hustle. They have to suffer too. When you give the inheritance in full, that's when they don't know the value of money. They misuse it. So, inheritance, give them half of the portion. The rest is on them. They should figure out life on their own. They have to hustle. They have to make ends meet too. They have to be responsible young men. They have to be responsible when they're trying to settle down and become husband. They have to be responsible. Listen, nobody's perfect, but that doesn't make an excuse. Saying you are not perfect. Listen, being responsible is being responsible. When it comes to responsibility, it has nothing to do with perfection. Responsibility too is a habit that can be learned, and it's consistently too. When you learn something consistent, it becomes your nature. So to be responsible, honestly speaking, I don't think you even need a course or need somebody to sit down with you. That's why you have this. When you really use this, then you have to know what it means to be responsible. If this thing really works. So sorry, that's what I can tell you. The next thing I want to tell you is, what legacy are we leaving behind? Our fathers, sons, nephews, grandfathers, grandsons, granddaughters, grandma, sisters, mothers, Africans. What legacy are we leaving behind? What legacy are we leaving behind? The foundation we have built. Would we love other people to build upon it, or do you want other people to destroy the foundation we lived? Our value, who we are. Are we gonna let it, are we gonna lay down our foundation we built, who we are? Our next generation gonna carry the mantle and continue where we left on? That's a question that we have to ask ourselves individually. So the African way of building family. And also, I want to talk about creating family, like pregnancy issue. As a woman, if you have health issues, it should be your number one goal before even having children. As a man, excuse my language, if you're not, okay, let me speak it in a coded language. If you cannot give woman belly, you have to figure it out. If you cannot get your wife pregnant and it's health issues, please do not be a burden to that queen, young lady. Work on yourself. That's why we have herbal medicine, we have clinic, hospital. Go and figure it out. What is wrong with you? Figure it out. As a woman, what is the problem? What is wrong with you? Figure it out. Your health issues before you have children. And as I said, this thing, autistic children too, like giving birth to autistic children. Sometimes too, it is what it is. Sometimes too, it is health issues. So depending on that, if it's health issues, find a solution to the problem. As I said, I'm not condemning autistic children. Autistic children are beautiful people. To be autistic is not something to be ashamed of. And I think that society have not, done enough justice to autistic people. Sometimes we are human beings and sometimes we don't understand what they are being through. We all can, sometimes we are human beings and yeah, we can judge based on ignorance, but autistic children, please let us show love and grace to them because we don't understand what it means to be autistic. For what they have to go through in every day, and trust me, many of them, if they really have power over their life, they don't want to be in that situation. But unfortunately, that's what life is. That's the world they are born into. So let us love them. Let us show grace to them. And please, Africans, let us stop ignorance. Sometimes I have to be real with Africans. I have to be real. So much I love my African people. I have to be honest with them. Sometimes we let ignorance blind us. Sometimes too, we choose to be ignorant. Autistic children are not cursed. Some African people believe this nonsense. They are not cursed. So please, stop it. Stop it. You don't know what it is. You don't know how it feels to go through their shoes. And please, as for let us show grace and love to disability, like people who are disabled. Please, let's be human beings for once. That's all I can say. So thank you for watching and please subscribe to my channel. Let's keep this message spreading. And you can look me up on YouTube, Reggie Kwabena Deschamps-Mills, Transforming the African Mind podcast on YouTube. And this is my series I'm treating on. So today is Monday. This coming Thursday, I'll be talking about music. Music can be a form of enjoyment. Music does have influence into people. So protect your ear gates, protect the gates here, protect your gates here. The music you are listening to, it can be feeding your spirits. The music you are listening to can be a message to you. And the music you listen to can either build you up or destroy you, can either heal your trauma or contribute more to your trauma. So choose wisely to the music you listen to. Like me, the music I listen to, I'm very picky with music. It's not every music I listen to. If I'm listening to your music, I have to know the message to the music. That's why when you suggest a music to me, first thing I do is I Google the lyrics. If there's no sense in your music, I do not bother waste my time listening to your music. So if you're singing, if you are doing music, there should be morals. So if I don't see morals in a song, I don't think it's necessary to listen to such music. So next week, Thursday, I'll be talking about music, African music, how we can use music to change narrative in our African communities, and how can we listen. We should make Africa. We should come up with something. We should do music festivals where we display our culture. So my humble opinion. So the African way of building of a family. Community too can be family as well. So whilst we build our own family, let us also think about community. African community. How's our community going? We can be a blessing. We can sow many seed into our African communities, and our community can be one of the, I'm not saying best, but can be excellent community out there. Look at the Indian community, the Chinese community, the European community. Look at how they have built their community. Africans, let us not be egoistic. Let us not be prideful. Yes, we are Africans. Yes, we are proud of who we are. But let not being an African, that doesn't mean that you should, not learn certain things that is which is good. Like if you see a Chinese person and you see what the Chinese person is doing, and it's good for society, and it can help people move forward and build you, learn that aspect. That doesn't mean become like the Chinese person, imitate the Chinese person. No. You can look up to a different community which is not African and learn good things from them. That doesn't mean that when you're learning things from a community, sometimes African copy blindly. When you're learning the good things, they want to learn everything. And sometimes to what they are learning is not even good. You can learn good things from the Western world. You can also learn bad things from the Western world, which is a choice. So if you want to learn things from the Western world, learn the good things to help your people. But do not learn things that will cause division, that will bring chaos in your communities. So my message out there, Africa unites. We cannot be unified if we don't know who we are as a people. That's why knowledge of yourself matters. Let us love ourselves. And no matter where you're from in Africa, no matter your tribe, no matter your ethnicity, no matter your nationality, remember this, that we are African family. And I want to tell you this, when a Westerner says an African, the Westerner doesn't care about Ghana, Uganda, no. When a Westerner says an African, he's grouping you into one group of people, one family. So that should be an awakening call that we are one people. And as well, please, Africans, we can change our narrative. The power is in our hands. We can change the African narrative, or we can contribute to promoting the propaganda the Western world do. As I said, I'm not a superhero, I'm not a magician, and I'm not a god somewhere. But as a human being, whatever I can do in my ability to help my people, I will. Like, I'm not a superhero. And as I want to tell you, I'm 27, I'll be turning 28 soon. And I'll tell you this, I'm somebody who loves reading, I'm somebody who loves knowledge, I'm somebody who loves history. When I'm less busy, I have my music on, you see me reading, you see me learning stuff about history, economic, news. I'm somebody, I love knowledge. But I'll tell you this, the best ever gift you can give to an African child is a sense of identity. Raising them to be great men and women. Teaching them morals. And also spiritually in tune. That's where faith matters. That's why knowing the Creator matters. So I've said enough. So I'm going to end it here. So my next video is going to be about music. So stay tuned. Thank you all for supporting the podcast. Thank you for the subscription. So far I have 7 subscribers. 7 means I've done a little bit. I've done, a tip of it, but there's more. Please keep subscribing, keep spreading this video, and let us keep on speaking the truth. Africa unites. Africa, wake up. We cannot remain in darkness. The lights have come, and the light that I'm talking about is liberating yourself as a people. So I'm going to end it here. One love. This is from your West African brother, your Ghanaian, Sierraleonean brother. Please keep supporting the podcast, and as this podcast, when you keep moving forward, when I see this improvement, the message is getting out there, I'll be teaming up with brothers and sisters. I'll be interviewing people who really know about what is going on in Africa. So I'll be featuring great minds. So I'm just hoping that I have a time to interact with great, intellects. Somebody like Obadale Kambon, somebody like our brother Danis Amer, and great Wademaya and Co. So, African Tigress, and all brothers and sisters who are pushing the positive image of Africa out there. And I want to say this: shout out to all comrades who are doing whatever they can do to build their African communities. People who have been spreading the African love, the solidarity, and a big shout out to people who are non-Africans who have been standing with us, not based on exploitation or what they can get from African, but who's genuinely love us from the heart. I know there are non-Africans who want to see us prosper, to be great. So I want to say a shout out to our brothers in Cuba. Cuba have been a great brothers. Solidarity, they have been doing a lot for Africans. A big shout out to our brothers in the Middle East, those who have been standing with Africans. Big shout out to you. And a big shout out also to our brothers and sisters in Haiti, Dominica, Jamaica, all the Caribbean nation who have been, especially my Caribbean brothers. I never hold you down. You guys mean a lot to me. You guys have been, embracing who you are, loving your African self, and promoting the African identity. And I know our brothers in Caribbeans who want to move to the continent, and who are also in the Caribbean countries changing the negative narrative of Africa. In our pursuit of building a family and African brothers and sisters in diaspora, it's hard time we think about Africa, we think about home. Right now, let's say if you don't have the strength no more to go there and make ends meet, then we have to go back to Africa. What do we have left? In our pursuit of finding a better life in the diaspora, let us think about Africa. Let us think about building something home. Let us think about doing something home to help our people. That's all I can say. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Power to the people. Bye-bye.